Hi there, hope you're well. This is Joe here. I want to talk to you about a matter that is very, very important. I feel that if you wish to start a business here in Ghana, obviously starting a business means you have to employ people unless you want to be self-employed, a lone ranger, working for yourself, but which is fine. But I feel that if you want to get ahead and make more money, and that means you need to be making more impact. And the best way to make more impact is to increase business. And how do you increase business? You need to have employees so that you can replicate yourself and get other people involved to help you manage your business. So if you are in Ghana, especially to start a business and employ people, you're going to go through a lot of challenges, setbacks. You're going to have people cheating you, people lying to you, people not doing what they are supposed to do, doing less and demanding more, right? So it's imperative to make sure that you are not in a rush when it comes to hiring. So this video is about fire them before you hire them. That's the title of this video. Fire them before you hire them is really critical, because sometimes, by the way, if you don't know my story, my name is Joe, born in Ghana. My mother took me to the UK at the age of 10 with my brother and I have schooled in the UK, London specifically, for over 30 years. Obviously, I haven't schooled for all that time, but I'm just saying I've lived in the UK for over 30 years. I was raised there from the age of 10, so I have a lot of experience, but I always had this desire to come back to the warm weather, come back to the motherland and build a better foundation and possibly retire here. And you can't retire in a place where you don't really know the terrain, you haven't really experienced how to do business, how to make money there. And I didn't want to leave it till I was 60, in my 60s, before I made the move. And I knew that it's not going to be easy, it's going to be challenging, so I'd rather do that while I am still younger. So I am in Ghana in my 40s, early 40s, or almost mid 40s, and I'm building a few businesses here. The first business actually I started, well, that one was my online business. Well, it's not really online, semi-online. It's a recruitment business, which allowed me to come to Ghana, hire people here, and that business is sort of on a back burner, but cooking slowly in the background. But I started a plastic recycling factory here in Ghana, a gym, Airbnb, and couple of things. So I have good amount of experience hiring people that I feel that I can share with you. And if it helps just one person to make your journey a little easier, and then fantastic. So I want to go through that topic that because anytime that you are trying to hire someone, most of the time we do that out of urgency. If you need to hire someone, often it's like you should have hired them like 3 months ago. So I understand, as a business owner, when you're hiring someone, it's a matter of an urgency, but you need to be really careful, because when you are in urgency, you are likely to drop your hiring standards. You are likely to do less due diligence, because all you are thinking about is getting the body on the seat. All you are thinking about, maybe you need to meet your orders, you need to fund your business, right? You need to keep your business running, and you're trying to meet your customers' needs or whatever it is. And maybe even just hiring a cleaner or a house help. Don't just hire anybody. Really take the time to ask good questions. Don't be in a hurry, because no matter when you are in a hurry, always remind yourself to slow down, because when you're in a hurry, when it's urgent, like I said, you are likely to drop your standards, and also you'll be more emotional. You'll be looking for a reason to hire them. But when it comes to the concept of fire them before you hire them, really talks about consciously seeking a reason not to hire them. thinking about, okay, if I hire this person now, how is this likely to pan out? If this person disappointed me, what would it look like? You really want to ask those questions. And you also want to pick up on red flags. Does the person drink? Was the person late? Does the person talk bad about their ex-boss? All these are red flags. Does the person, because when you ask really good questions, like what would you say about your boss? What was your last boss like? Describe a difficult colleague. Describe a time you worked with a difficult boss, a difficult manager, a difficult supervisor, and really listen to what they are saying to you. Because if you don't take the time, for example, let me talk about my specific experience with mistakes I've made, because I made a lot of dumb mistakes, which I rushed the process because I needed someone urgently to fill the role, to meet needs. And I let my guard down. For example, there was a guy that recently left, and I wish I had fired him before I hired him, because I've worked with him on a contractual basis. Maybe if I need him like a day to come and train one of my employees. But the place where he was doing full-time, or the place where he was doing permanent work, I know a guy over there, and he told me the guy drinks. But obviously, because he only comes to my workplace to do maybe a shift every now and then, it's not really a burden on me. It's like, a wine night stand, thank you, man. So he comes, I pay him for a couple of days work, and he goes and to his normal job. So sometimes, let's say if he's doing night shift at his main job, sometimes he wants to do a double shift. So he will come to our factory and do a day shift and teach one of my guys on how to operate the machine. Now, he called me some time ago saying that, he has left his current company because his boss was unreasonable. And I asked him, why was your boss unreasonable? He says he hadn't been paid, and when finally he got paid, the boss told him to work, and he needed to go to the bank and withdraw some money and send it to his daughter, apparently. So because he left without doing what the boss said don't come back. That's his story. And then I asked a guy who works there, and he says no, it didn't happen that way. He should have listened to his boss, because apparently they had some issues with their machines there, and they have not been working for many days. So when the opportunity came for them to start working, that's when he wanted to leave. So he could have done this the following day, or even a few hours after that. He got that instruction, and he decided to go ahead and do his own thing. So the boss told him not to come back, and I knew I shouldn't have hired him. But I listened to the guy that works, says, oh yeah, he's a good worker, blah, blah. He's a good worker. Apart from that, he's a good worker. But I knew it was a red flag, and I hired him, and he came and pardon my French. He came and messed up one of my machines, right? And then when I complained to the guy who recommended to him, because I was going to basically deduct, because due to negligence, and also I was going to deduct a bit of salary to teach him a lesson. And the guy told him that, hey, your boss is going to deduct you. So that's when he up and left, right? But I knew in my heart, even in my head, that I shouldn't have hired him, right? So sometimes the person comes in, you can tell the story doesn't add up. They are talking bad about their boss. They are late. I had this one guy that I was going to hire, but when we agreed on a start date, he kept moving the start date. He never showed up when he was supposed to show up. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he calls me like a week later and says, "Oh, boss, I have a drive that I'm selling. Would you like to buy it?" And it's obvious this guy has stolen the drive, right? So that guy, I did not hire him because it was like a red flag to me. And there was another guy who was working in Burkina Faso, and someone connected me to him because in Burkina apparently they banned plastic. So he wanted to come back to Ghana. He's a Ghanaian guy. He wanted to come back to Ghana and work. So someone connected me to him. So we started talking, and he said that he has a brother that he wants to also I should take on, because I'm looking for one person, one operator, but this guy is saying that he normally work with his brother. They cannot really be separated. So I told him that, listen, we are a new company. We don't have the funds to take on 2 operators. Why don't you come and then we see how things go? Maybe after you have made our process a little bit better and increase demand, we can get your brother to do the night shift. But he kept on pushing through a serious conversation, so I agreed that him and his brother should come. And then he says he has a sister. He has a sister that he's also working with. And the way he was talking, I sense that it's not really his sister, it is his girlfriend, that he wants to also bring her along. So I decided to pull back. Because he was making demands, and I thought, okay, I haven't even given you the job there, and you are already making demands. You're gonna be a bitch to work with. So and I've made a lot of mistakes. I made it just a few because I don't want to make this video too long. But I would say that have this mindset of firing them before you hire them. Fire them before you hire them, because when you have that mindset, it's gonna guard your decisions. You're gonna be a little more careful, because sometimes they're gonna give you red flags that is a little preview, a little snippet of bigger things, more disastrous things that you're going to be doing once they enter into your premises, into your business, into your factory, into your relation, into your life. So pay attention to those little key details in interviews. Take your standard up, because the cost of hiring a bad person is greater than waiting for the right person, even though it takes longer. But the cost of hiring a bad person can cost you more than staying put and waiting for the right person. So especially here in Africa, especially here in Ghana, you want to, you are guilty until proven innocent. You are not innocent, then proven guilty. So whenever you interview something, look for flaws. If this person was to disappoint me, how would I feel about that? If this person was to leave in the next 3 months or within the next 3 months, what impact would that cause for my business? And really look at it from that standpoint, because people will just waste your time. They will waste your time. Yeah. So, by the way, please, if this content is valuable, you find it useful, hit the subscribe button, like, share. It will be really, really appreciated. And if you are coming to Ghana anytime soon, by the way, we have a fantastic Airbnb, one by the beach near Kokrobite, Oshie. You have a fantastic view of the Atlantic Ocean. It's to die for. It's fantastic. So I really recommend that if you love nature and looking at the beach, looking at the ocean, it's in your window view. is the seaside. And then we also have another one more central near Kaneshie Mateko, which is 20 minutes away from the airport, and 10-15 minutes to Osu, Cantonment, Labone, close to Accra Mall as well. So if you are coming to Ghana anytime soon, DM me and I'll book it, or WhatsApp me, I'll book it for you. So like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, but I have made a lot of stupid mistakes, silly mistakes. I've been too eager to fill roles and hire the bad people who end up being thieves, who end up being lazy, a poison in the business, talking about you to other people, or talking about the history of just giving a lot of gossip, just gossiping and just really negative energy, trying to spoil other people for you. You have people like that. You get people who will badmouth you to new employees. So you wanna, once you find that kind of person in your organization, you wanna get rid of it ASAP, even if it costs you to be out of operations for a while. It's better than having a poison in your company. So I would encourage you to raise your standard, fire them before you hire them. So I hope this was helpful in any way. Maybe I'll do a more longer version, and then we will take it from there. So thank you so much for watching this content. Appreciate it. Stay blessed.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a modern building also,
right.
And in the apartment is very very comfortable. I mean, we had a air condition, and we have a fan, and it's a nice kitchen.
Good time.
Yeah. We slept very well actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will recommend it. Yeah, Agyeman apartment, Airbnb. Not really far from the airport, and exactly, this is also not far from Kaneshie, which there's a big market here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when we were coming with the taxi, we drove through this market where people were still active.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And also, if you wanted to go to Osu, Labone.
Okay, not far. Okay.
It's not far at all.
Yeah, it's Ebri also from here far?
No, from here, Ebri. Oh, I don't know how long it would be, specifically, but it's not far.
Oh, okay.
It's not far.
Not far
I think
from Accra,
it's not far from here.
Okay.
It's not far from here at all.
We have to go there too.
Yeah, it's definitely under 1 hour.
Yeah,
it's
right.
that maybe 40, maybe it can even be maybe around 40 minutes, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. So guys, you're always welcome here. You feel comfortable. If you wanna spend some time in Accra and not really far from the airport, and, from the city center also.
Okay, great. And what about you, Lucas? Okay, everything okay for you?
Everything okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good time.
Okay, nice one.
Yeah. So you're always welcome.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks for watching.